Cool fun fact, time is running out. Hey there, kiddos. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you're having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in the kind of squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about the wonderful world of Star Wars Unlimited, Fantasy Flight games, Cardamundi, mistakes that have been made. Oh, now this chair is being squeaky. Nice. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And just, I want to talk about my absolute disappointment right now with regards to Star Wars Unlimited. And before anyone hops in the comments section and goes, oh, Uncle Frank just wants Star Wars Unlimited to fail. He wants it to die. He's always doom and gloom on the game. No, it's not that I want the game to fail. I don't want any game to fail. I have the same approach to Star Wars Unlimited that I do to every card game out there. I try to be as unbiased as possible, both in regards to reporting on the news and just giving my honest opinions about the game. A few months ago, I had the same opinion towards Star Wars Unlimited at the start of, let's say midway through 2025. I had the same opinion on Star Wars Unlimited that I did towards Disney's Lorcana. And for both games, I had said that unless things change and decisions were made to kind of make the games a bit more sensible, I'd be very pessimistic about their futures. And here we are, half a year later, and, you know, a lot of people, myself included, have noted that Disney's Lorcana appears to have reversed course. They are tightening print runs. They are really leaning into the collectability of the Disney IP. And they're overall doing what they can, in my opinion, to make their game appealing to both players, collectors alike, which is really good. Kudos where kudos are deserved. Meanwhile, Fantasy Flight Games, it looks like they're determined to add Star Wars Unlimited to their ever-growing catalog of dead Star Wars games. It's kind of crazy. They have a few under their belt at this point. It's nuts. So what am I here to ramble about today? Well, today, we're here to talk about a very big, very important piece of information, okay? A few days ago, probably like 5 or 6 days ago now, FFG, Fantasy Flight Games, they put out an article, an announcement on the Star Wars Unlimited website talking about the fact that back in November, they were alerted that certain cards in certain boxes have been affected by what we in the industry call an oopsie doopsie. A big oopsie doopsie. This wasn't a case of, oh, there's a lot of misprints and miscuts and, oh, there's some errata that needs to be fixed. That happens a lot in the world of cards. Changes happen last minute, so erratas need to be issued. Happens all the time. Even Magic the Gathering has that happen. There's a lot of loud cards zipping by right now. Even Magic the Gathering, the biggest name in the industry, right? They have erratas all the time. Miscuts, misprints, etc. Those happen all the time. Every card game has them. That's not what this is about, though. In November, Cardamundi informed Fantasy Flight Games that there's duplicates, multiple copies of individual serialized cards. Now, some people might call that an oopsie doopsie. I call that a big deal. Because, oh boy, is that not great. You see, serialized cards, for any card game, would in theory, represent the most desirable, most collectible, rarest versions of any regular card in the game. In theory. Obviously, Magic the Gathering has some pretty unique examples of cards that would be a bit more collectible, a bit more desirable than an average serialized card, and not every game that has serialized cards is really having people who are all that interested in them. Looking at you, the My Hero Academia Was it Universes that had that? There was serialized My Hero Academia cards that I don't think anybody cares about. But I'm getting off topic. I'm getting off course again. The point is, they've been made aware for a few months now of duplicate serialized cards in their boxes, their Carbonite boxes, which is not good. Now, they have a plan to fix this. They have a plan to basically, if you have one of these duplicated serialized cards, you send it into them, and they will, in return, give you a different serialized card of the same card, but with a different foiling treatment. So now, instead of just 2 copies of a serialized card floating around out there, there are potentially 4 copies of any one given serialized number out there, because there's 2 different foilings they have for each potential card, and that's how they're going to tell. That's how they're going to reimburse the people who pull these serialized cards. They are going to replace them with new, different, slightly foilier serialized cards. That's their plan here. And I'm not going to talk anything about the plan itself. I'm sure that, in a way, getting a special variant foil of your serialized card is better than being stuck with what you know for a fact is one of 2 of the same number. But I cannot stress enough that this is a situation that should never have happened in the first place. When it comes to serialized cards, every step of the process should have the highest level of quality control. I don't think I've heard of any other serialized product, period, having duplicates. I don't think it's ever happened. It maybe has. Maybe I'm just ignorant of it, okay? But Magic's been doing serialized cards for a few years now. They've, to my knowledge, never had any duplicates. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was getting on the serialized train. I don't think they've had any duplicates. And more to the point, sports and collector's cards have had serialized cards for over a decade now. Quite a while. And I don't think I've ever heard of any sports card with a duplicate serial number. Ever. So this is quite the big deal in the world of collectible cards, because not only is this, at least to my knowledge, again, I could be just ignorant of something else, of some other time that this has happened, so feel free to correct me in the comment section down below if I am unaware. But to my knowledge, this is not something that's happened before for any collectible, where there's duplicate serialized cards. For this to happen to a collectible that's really pushing itself as hard as Star Wars Unlimited is just another major red flag for the game, because it shows that quality control was lacking for a game that really needs it right now. Carbonite booster boxes and the serialized cards inside of them have to be the best of the best for the game in order to really showcase their collectible status to potential investors and potential collectors, because that's the thing. This is not a product for players. This is not a product for stores. This is not a product for your average Star Wars fan who might be like, oh, I watched one film 10 years ago and I kind of liked it. No. Carbonite booster boxes and the serialized cards inside of them should be for those collectors, those whales who are interested in spending big bucks on a potentially rare collectible of an IP that they are a huge fan of. And I cannot stress enough that any failing along the pipeline, from card creation to design to print to packaging to putting it on the store shelves, there has to be a certain level of care involved. And for the printing step to be messed up to the point that you have duplicate serial numbers, that's a big deal, because it really chips away at what little faith is out there in the collectibles world for this game. Star Wars Unlimited, I'm going to be very blunt, Star Wars Unlimited suffers. It flounders. A lot of its products come out and lose so much of their secondary market prices basically on release. It pulls a Yu-Gi-Oh! But unlike Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, I've talked about this before. Yu-Gi-Oh! Can survive declining box prices and floundering sales because it has such a huge audience. There is always someone out there who wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, buy Yu-Gi-Oh!, collect Yu-Gi-Oh! Even at reduced prices, people are interested in it, right? Star Wars Unlimited, not Star Wars as a whole, Star Wars Unlimited doesn't have that 2 decades of audience retention that Yu-Gi-Oh does. It's a new card game with a brand new collector base who may or may not be interested in spending money, especially after hearing about this kind of issue. I've said it before at the start of the video, and I'll say it at every opportunity I do whenever I cover Star Wars Unlimited. I don't want the game to fail. But Fantasy Flight Games made a serious mistake here. I hope they fix it, and I sincerely hope, going forward, that there's no more issues like this. But this is the kind of issue that can completely kill. This is the kind of mistake that completely kills someone's interest in your collectible. Knowing that you fucked up like this once means you could fuck up again. If this happened to Magic the Gathering, collectors would be in an absolute uproar, okay? Think back to the 90s with the Collector's Edition. No. 4th Edition. Chronicles. Sorry. 4th Edition Chronicles. Think back to them when the cards were reprinted and collectors thought they were losing the value on their cards. Back when Magic cards weren't worth as much as they are now. Not even close. They flipped the hell out. And could you imagine pulling what you thought was a several $100 hyper rare collectible card? Could you imagine cracking open a Final Fantasy collector booster box, pulling a serialized chocobo, only to find out, actually, oops, there's 2 chocobos of that number? You would never crack open a collector booster box again. You wouldn't be able to trust Wizards for that, because they messed up once, they could mess up again in the future. If you were a genuine collector who was actually interested in collecting these serialized cards, you would lose interest quickly over mistakes like this. So I really just need to stress that this is the kind of thing that should not have happened, period. There should have been massive quality control every step of the way. It should have been checked, double-checked, triple-checked, all that jazz, to make sure that this product, which you want to be the most successful product, they really need this to be the successful product, because their regular booster boxes aren't doing that great. I can't stress that enough. They need the Carbonite boosters to do well. And they're not. Especially because of stuff like this. And it's traveling all over the internet. People are finding out about it at breakneck speed. I just found out about it today as I'm recording this video. Apparently it's been out there for a few days now. But this ain't good. This ain't good. This is not the kind of news you want for your game. This is not the kind of information you want out there, because it harms collector confidence. It severely hampers the potential growth of your game on the secondary market and does long-term damage to your IP. And I just hope that Fantasy Flight Games gets their crap together, and that they maybe bring an end to the Carbonite experiment, because clearly I don't think it's worth it. But what do I know? What do you guys think? Please leave a like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you agree with me, disagree with me, think that I am completely crazy. Check out the Discord, check out the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.